Hi everyone! So today I'm back with a video where I'm going to be talking to you guys all about my favourite makeup brushes. These are the brushes that I've kind of picked out from my collection that I tend to reach for the most. Pretty much when I'm just doing my everyday makeup routine, I just find these brushes are kind of the easiest to work with and I like the results that they give. So let's get started. First of all, I just want to really quickly apologise for the state of my brushes. Obviously I have been using them and I used them just before this video, which means that they are not looking beautifully clean. But what I will do is clean them before I put the close-ups in of the brushes so that you guys don't have to look at dirty makeup brushes, because that's not very pleasant, is it? So I will clean them before the close-ups. So yeah, I just wanted to say very quickly, the brushes have been used, so not looking beautiful. Anyway, the first brush that I've picked that I wanted to talk to you guys about is this one, and this is by Eve Lom, and this is their powder foundation brush. I don't use it for powder foundation. I think with makeup brushes, you kind of have to use them with the products that you feel they work best with for your skin, if that makes sense. I hope it does. And for me, I like to use this with a liquid foundation, and I find that it works really, really nicely with the liquid foundation. I think because it's got quite short bristles that are all very, very compact, there's lots of them and they're very tight, I just find that it makes it very, very easy to kind of really buff your foundation in, and it just kind of sets it very, very nicely. And also with this brush, you don't get any of the kind of lines or streaks that you sometimes find with other brushes. This brush I absolutely love using. I use it literally every single day. I've tried various other foundation brushes of all different kind of types and shapes, and I just find for me this one kind of works the nicest, and it just sets the foundation the best on my skin to give you that kind of very kind of flawless looking skin, as much as you can achieve that with a foundation brush. It's a really, really great brush. I absolutely love to use this with my liquid foundations. So the second brush that I've picked is this one, and this is a Real Techniques brush, and this is from their Bold Metals collection. And of course the first thing that you notice is how beautiful it looks. The gorgeous, gorgeous rose gold colour is just stunning, and I love the fact that it's got the edges, it's not rounded so it doesn't roll off the table when you put it down, which I think is the best idea ever. Because it's so annoying, isn't it, when your brush rolls on the floor and then it's all dirty and just gross. So I love the fact that they've kind of added that extra little touch to this brush. I think it's brilliant. And this is the number 300 brush. This is also a foundation brush, but obviously a very different shape to the last one. And what I actually really like to use this brush for is not necessarily kind of all over my face. What I like to use this more for is kind of like in the creases around your nose, which I know seems kind of maybe a bit odd to use a different brush for that area, but the other brush, because it's such a different shape, it doesn't get into the creases kind of well enough. So I find that this one, obviously because it has that kind of dome shape at the top, it means that you can really get right into the creased areas. So it works beautifully for all around your nose, I find. That's how I like to use this one. I know it's got a reasonably small function for me, but I just find it kind of finishes off the areas that the other brush doesn't reach well enough. So that's how I like to use this brush. Brush number 3 is this one, and this is by Kevyn Aucoin, and this is their blush brush. I use it exactly for that. I use it to apply my blusher, and I was looking for a really, really long time for a blusher brush that I loved, and I don't know why, it's kind of weird. For some reason, none of the other brushes that I used applied my blusher as I wanted it to. I just wanted a brush that very kind of delicately applied blusher. Don't know if that sounds weird. Maybe, I don't know. But go with me. It just is very, very soft and light on your skin, which I think is brilliant because it means that when you're putting it into your blusher, I find it doesn't pick up too much blusher. It just does the absolutely perfect amount. With some blushes, obviously they're very heavily pigmented, which means that you sometimes have that annoying situation where you put your blush brush in and you end up with a huge amount of blusher on your face and you just look like crazy blush lady. And this one doesn't do that at all. It doesn't matter how pigmented the blush is, I just find there's something about it that just picks up exactly the right amount of product, which means that it just puts that very kind of subtle blush look onto your cheeks. It just does the job really nicely and better than any other brush that I've used. So I also think that the size of the brush is perfect. It's not too big, not too small. So again, it's really easy to work with it on your cheekbones. So Kevyn Aucoin blush brush, love it. So the next brush that I wanted to show you is this one. And this is the MAC 109 brush. And as you can see, it's quite a kind of short, stubby little brush. And what I absolutely love to use this for is when I'm using a powder highlighter. And the way I like to use this is just dab it in very lightly into the highlighter and just kind of do it up the tops of your cheekbones and kind of all round in that kind of C shape. And then sometimes kind of under my eyebrow as well. And I just find it's just the perfect size for that. You know, it's not too big, not too small, so you get just the right amount of product. You don't get kind of too much or not enough. So I find this one's really, really simple and very easy to use for that purpose, so love this one as well. So brush number 5 is the MAC 217 brush. I think this is just kind of one of those classic makeup brushes that you just have to have in your makeup bag. I think it's a really versatile and great brush. So generally I like to use this to apply my eyeshadow base. Usually what I do before I kind of, if I'm going to put on other colours on top of my base, I will put a very, very flat nude colour on my eyelids, just to kind of give you that nice clean base to work with. And I find that this is just the absolute perfect sized brush for that function. It just covers enough of your eyelid just to kind of sweep everything all the way across. It also kind of gets in the crease really nicely. I think you could probably use this in so many different ways, but that's just the way that I find this brush works the best for me. If I'm going to then put another colour on top of that and not do kind of too much with my eyeshadow that day, I will sometimes use this again just to kind of layer on top of it as well if I don't want to do anything too fancy, just because I think it is a really great size just to cover your entire eyelid just really nicely and really simply and easily and quickly. So that's what I use that one for. My next brush is this one, and this is the MAC 219 brush, and as you can see, it's a really teeny tiny brush. It has a lovely kind of pointed shape to it, which I find is the perfect shape to do kind of the outer corner of your eye, just to give that nice kind of flick sort of shape. It just gives you that nice angle so you can get right into the crease as well, and because it's small, it's quite easy to control, if that makes sense. So you can get kind of a nice line and then, you know, take it across into the crease. Yes, so that's how I love to use this brush. And again, it's really nice if you want to kind of layer it up with another colour as well, just in the crease or around the outer corner area. That's how I love to use that one. And then I use this one usually after that, because once I've kind of done all the colours that I want to do, this one, which is the MAC 286, is perfect for blending all of the colours together. It really, honestly, it blends absolutely beautifully to just soften up any hard lines that you've got going on. It blends colours together nicely without kind of smudging them together too much. It just blends them very softly, very gently, and you can work with it really well to make sure that you kind of do or don't blend them too much or not enough. So that one I love, and I like the fact the bristles are slightly longer because I feel like it kind of makes you work with it a little bit lighter rather than doing something a lot heavier. So it's really easy to work with, blends everything in absolutely beautifully, love it. The next brush that I've got is this one, and this is a Charlotte Tilbury brush, and this is called the Smudger Brush. I use this for kind of one purpose only, because I enjoy using it for this purpose, and I find it just works really nicely for it because it's very, very short, the bristles are really compact, and it just gets into the area really nicely. What I love to use this for is if you're ever putting in the inner corner of your eye, kind of a little bit of highlight, you know, just to add that bit of definition. I love doing that anyway because I find it just lifts and really brightens the eye area. And actually, incidentally, the product that I love to do that with is Floof by MAC. It's just an eyeshadow colour, but I think it just is a beautiful, beautiful highlighting colour to put in the inner corner. And this works beautifully to do that. It's just the right size so that you can just get enough in that area, because obviously you don't want too much, you just want a little bit just to give you that kind of lift. And this does that perfectly, so love this for that. So the final brush that I've got to show you guys is this little one, and this is the MAC 266 brush. And as you can see, it's a really teeny tiny brush, but it's angled, so I like to use this for kind of drawing on eyeliner. And what I actually like to do with this one is take the eyeshadow colour that I've used on my top lid, usually kind of the darkest colour, and I like to go on my lower lash line with this brush and just take some of the colour down. Usually I only go kind of halfway with the colour with this, and I just find it works really well for that. Because it's so small, again, you can control it really nicely so you don't end up with too much product under your eye. And because it's very blunt and angled, you can really just get right underneath the lashes and really work very nicely with getting that colour really kind of right up and underneath the lashes. So it's quite subtle, but it does the job really, really nicely, and it's really easy to use. Those are my top favourite brushes that I'm using at the moment, kind of on a daily basis. These are my favourite picks from my collection. It's actually quite nice to kind of experiment with brushes to see if you can use them in different ways to how it suggests on the brush or on the box. I think it's nice to play around with brushes and see how they work best for you. And that's what I've done with some of these, and I'm really enjoying using them as I have explained in the video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed my video. Please give me a very happy thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe. It absolutely makes my day. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you guys very soon for another video. Take care. Bye.